A recruit that scored a state record 57 touchdowns and ran for a state record 3,436 yards last season for Green Bay Notre Dame. He's the 10th ranked running back in the country, the second ranked player in the state. All of Wisconsin's commitments in 2027 are from Wisconsin, and the class ranks in the top 20 in the country. Turn to the Packers. NFL draft now less than 3 weeks away. Things get going April 23rd in Pittsburgh. Green Bay likely won't be on the clock that night as they don't own a first-round pick. That's because they sent it to Dallas as part of the Micah Parsons trade last year. Though his season ended with an injury, GM Brian Gutekunst still very bullish on the pass rusher and all he brings to the team.
When you acquire a player, you never really 100% know, when they enter your environment, how that's going to be. But I couldn't be happier with how he's kind of embraced Green Bay, embraced our team, his teammates, the leadership that he's shown. He's all football, you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing for me that just it gets me excited to see where he's going to go as a Green Bay Packer.
Again, the draft gets going April 23rd.
Everyone should feel confident about their path forward. Exact Sciences has teamed up with UW Athletics to help promote eradicating cancer by preventing it, detecting it earlier, and guiding personalized treatment. The Exact Sciences Athletes Program is unique as it connects UW student athletes with Exact Sciences' work to provide breakthroughs in cancer care and treatment. Exact Sciences and UW Athletics helping raise cancer awareness to make a difference in the Madison community. Learn more at exactsciences.com.
Well, the Brewers are in Kansas City. It's where they're going to open up a series against the Royals tonight. Milwaukee comes in 5-1 and looking for its first 6-1 start since 2023. And the Bucks taking on Boston tonight at Fiserv Forum. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Larry's in Andover on the Red Sox. Go ahead, Larry.
Bear with me. The first suggestion is let's take Nate Eaton out of Worcester, bring him up, and send Durbin not back to Worcester. Send him back to the Brewers free. You can have them. No gratis, anything.
A big trade for us and something that we've looked at for a while and felt like our ability to add multiple arms, Harrison plus a Drohan, the combination of adding those guys is really exciting for us.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
All right, we start the show revisiting the Caleb Durbin trade. Again, for a couple of different reasons. We'll get into it. Also, I'm just addicted to finding angry sports talk radio callers in Boston complaining about Durbin. That's my new hobby this week, is just combing hours and hours of sports talk radio on the East Coast. I want to revisit, like I said, the Caleb Durbin trade, how it's gone so far, for a couple of different reasons. That's where we'll begin the show tonight. This is the Wisco Sports Show. My name is Grant Bills, and I hope you're having a good Friday and your week is wrapping up nicely. Happy Good Friday to those who participate. Celebrate seems like the wrong word, but to those who participate, we're looking forward to Easter this weekend. Excited. I'm going to go home and see my family, so hopefully you're looking forward to a good weekend. You can watch the show, the Wisco Sports Zone app. It live streams. You can listen there too. If you're like, Grant, I don't need to. I'll just listen a little bit on my drive. I don't also need to watch the thing. That's fine. But you have the option. You could do either on the Wisco Sports Zone app. And if you want to watch, if you're at home, you don't have a radio nearby, that app's a good way. You can also watch on our YouTube page, the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills. And you can follow me on Twitter. It streams there as well at Wisco Grant. It's a Free Phones Friday, which means we can bounce around to a bunch of random different things, which we're normally Monday through Thursday pretty flexible on the calls anyways. Although I think we've had some pretty good structure this week between Packers, Brewers. We did a half hour on the Badgers last night. I still don't think you guys are getting where I'm coming from with the Badgers, but that's fine. I must not have made myself clear. We'll continue to work on that throughout the college football offseason. So if you want to talk March Madness, you want to talk baseball, you want to talk Packers, you want to talk about Good Friday, I could give a rip. The week's almost over. I get to leave in an hour, and I have to leave. I love this show. I wish I could do it all the time. I leave, let's say this, I leave the studio in an hour and 55 minutes. We can talk about whatever. But I want to start by, again, talking about Caleb Durbin, that trade and how it's gone so far, because I have a little bit of advice to give to you. I feel like I don't get too preachy on this show. I might be very preachy. I've never thought about that before. I feel like I don't tell you how to fan. It's my goal to never try to tell you how to fan. Like if you're mad at the Packers, I try to tell you not to be mad. Or I try to tell you to I don't try to tell you how to feel. That's not really my goal here. So to start, I'm just going to give you a little advice. I think it's so important in sports to have side projects. I think it's important in life too, for what it's worth, right? Like you have your job, you have your family, you have your things that you need to take care of. You got to pay your bills, you got to go to work, all these things. It's important to have your little side things that you get excited about. Your hobbies. You like to travel. I don't know. You like to go fishing. You like to go frisbee golf, whatever it is. You need those little things on the side, right? Something to daydream about when you're at your job, or when you're having a long day, just things to get you through. You need side projects. You need side quests. And I think that's important in sports as well. I think a lot of people get their side quests in sports from betting. If you put some scratch on a game, you bet a player's over or under. It's like, well, there you go. Now, all of a sudden, in the middle of football season, in the middle of Packers season, I all of a sudden care about Rashad Bateman and whether or not he catches a touchdown. That's a fun little sports side quest. Fantasy football or fantasy sports. Clearly, I have a buddy, a high school buddy, who follows hockey in a way that I don't really understand, because he's never been a hockey fan, but he's in a fantasy hockey league with some of my friends. And he'll point things out to me. He's like, yeah, this guy's having a great month. I'm like, how do you know? Well, fantasy hockey. Victor Arvidsson's having a great week. It's like, how do you know that? You don't even watch hockey. So for a lot of people, your sports side quests, they come in the form of betting or gambling or fantasy sports, whatever it might be. I don't really like fantasy that much. I'll play fantasy football just because I feel like everyone plays fantasy football. I have 2 leagues, maybe. I think I was in 1 league this last year. It's good enough for me. I don't bet, mostly because I don't have the money. I also try to stay away from gambling. I have a little bit of an addictive personality. I don't think I'd get addicted to sports gambling, but I'd rather just not mess with it. Also, I don't find it all that interesting. Like I don't think I'd enjoy it all that much. So worst case scenario is I start lighting my money on fire because I get addicted to sports gambling, even though I don't like it. So I stay away from it. If I'm rich one day, maybe I'll pick up the habit. Maybe it's something I'll pick up. But I don't get a lot of juice. I don't get a lot of buzz from gambling or fantasy. So I have to find my sports side projects, my side quests in other ways. And if you're like me and you watch the Packers and the Brewers and the Bucks and the Badgers, you don't really play fantasy and you don't gamble, and you're like, I would like to, I'd like to dabble here and there in other sports and other teams and other leagues I don't pay attention to. Here's what you do. You find a podcast or a radio show or a live stream, whatever. You find some content on the side talking about another team or another thing. And then you start caring about that thing because you're interested to see what they say about that thing on your favorite podcast. I pay attention to the Cubs, for example, here and there, because they're the Brewers' rival, but technically so are the Reds and the Pirates and the Cardinals, but I don't pay attention to those teams. I pay attention to the Cubs. Why? Because I enjoy the Locked On Cubs podcast with Sam Olber and Matt Cozy. Sam's on the show here and there. I think they do a really good job. I like their show. So I will pay attention to the Cubs on a Tuesday night when the Brewers are off or whatever. If the Brewers finish their game and the Cubs are on the West Coast, I'll switch on the Cubs game because they're the Brewers' rival and because I like baseball, but also because, I want to see what happens to the Cubs. So then when I turned on, Locked On Cubs in the morning and Sam and Matt are firing off takes, I want to feel like I'm a part of the group. You know what I mean? Like I want to know, that thing. So another thing that I've gotten really into the last 2 or 3 weeks is East Coast Sports Talk Radio talking about the Red Sox because they acquired Caleb Durbin. And it started like I listened to a bunch of sports talk radio anyways, but I'm really in the weeds now because I need to see how Caleb Durbin does. So I can listen to what they have to say about Caleb Durbin. This is my new little side quest. So today, Caleb Durbin was hitless coming into today's game. This was Caleb Durbin's first plate appearance of the day. It was with a runner on first. Wilson Contreras, who plays for the Red Sox now, had just taken a walk, maybe a little something going, the home opener at Fenway. And this is Caleb Durbin's at bat. I cut the radio call on WEEI, I believe, because I was listening. I don't have MLB TV, but I have the radio subscription. So I cut this audio. This is what it sounded like in, I believe, the second inning at Fenway Park today.
That's the softest contact of the season for Abreu, but there's one down.
Well, it's tough with Durbin behind Willie right now, just because they know they don't have to give him a ton to hit until this kid can get going, which we think he will soon.
Yeah, sooner the better.
Yes.
No doubt about it. And you feel for him, too. We know he's going to be a good player, third in the Rookie of the Year, but get the first one out of the way, maybe right here, right now.
Well, it's not how you start, it's how you evolve.
True for all of us. Here's Durbin. The pitch to him is a check swing. Dribbler in front of the plate. Throw to second in time. Over to first. Double play. Well, Durbin hearing it a little bit after that 1-6 6-3.
You hear right there? I saw Tyler in Massachusetts, Wisco Greaves, on the live stream commenting during Bill's show that there were some boo birds during the introductions for the team.
Dribbler in front of the plate, throw to second.
You can hear the boos.
Time, over to first, double play. Well, Durbin hearing it a little bit after that 1-6-3 double play.
Twin killing, not great. Little dribbler. I don't even think he left the batter's box, which I don't blame him for entirely, but it's a bad look considering he was hitless so far coming into today. But then he came back up, I believe 2 innings later, with a runner on second and 2 outs. I'm like, oh boy, if he, and I was recording the audio of the radio, I'm like, if he doesn't get a hit here, they're going to boo the ever-living bejesus out of him. Here's the at-bat.
2-0 to Durbin. The pitch is wrapped up the middle, base hit.
Oh.
Caleb Durbin's got his first Red Sox hit, and it will drive home Duran. He steps on home plate. Welcome to Boston, Caleb. It's 2-0 Red Sox.
You feel that? Just a collective sigh of relief in that dugout with the player at first base, the fan base. Everybody could just breathe now. He got the first one out of the way, and it's a big one. Drives one in up the middle. That was a really good at-bat. Great swing. And guess what? On time for the fastball. There you go.
The weight of the world lifted.
Good for Caleb Durbin. So he got a hit today, big RBI. And I believe the Red Sox won. I kind of stopped paying attention as we got closer to the show because actually I started paying attention to the Cubs. And here's another reason why I thought we could start with the Caleb Durbin trade and revisit the Caleb Durbin trade. Not just because of my fetish for what they're saying about him on East Coast Sports Talk Radio, although I do find that interesting, like I said. There's a big development in the NL Central within the last hour. Cade Horton left the Cubs game. It's an injury to his forearm, and we don't know much. He left in the second inning. I saw that Taylor McGregor reported from the Cubs, Cade Horton left the game with right forearm discomfort, which could be a lot of things. I asked some baseball people I'm in a group chat with, a lot smarter than me. Said like, okay, what does this mean? Could be flexor, which remember, McGill had flexor issues, I believe, down the stretch last year. He came back. I didn't think he would, but he did and was pretty good. He looked fine in the playoffs after the injury. Could also mean something with the UCL. Like, that's not great. I saw Sam Olber on Twitter pointing out that on the broadcast on Marquee, Taylor McGregor pointed out that Cade Horton was leaving with tears in his eyes. That doesn't seem good. Now, the Cubs rotation coming into this year, as we've talked about, is a lot of guys that you don't really trust. Tyone is shaky. Boyd has been shaky. Who else am I forgetting about in that rotation? Well, that makes my point. There's pitchers. Now, Cabrera, who they acquired, he's good. They just got him. Cade Horton was the one stud they had last year in Justin Steele's absence, but Cade Horton got injured at the end of last year. Now he's injured, and it looks like it could be significant to start this year. So it's a huge blow for the Cubs if he's out for any extended period of time. It's also, to bring this back to the Brewers, I hate when I get mad when the Brewers do things and then the Brewers are proven right and I sound like a whiny little baby who doubts my team. But Matt Arnold made the Caleb Durbin trade basically saying, well, we had an option to deal this player and to add 2 young controllable arms. To add Kyle Harrison and to add Shane Drohan, who's not even at the major league level last night, to a rotation that's already rounded out. Miz, Chad Patrick, Brandon Woodruff, Harrison, and then who was the other one who started? I can't remember. Gasser and Henderson at the minors. Priester's hurt. He's not even back yet. There's something to be said for just stashing as much young, controllable starting pitching as you can possibly get your arms around. Because the Cubs could be in a position now. Who knows if Steele or when Steele could come back this year. It's a long season, so he'll probably come back, but who knows in what condition and who knows how many innings he'll be able to cover. But now if Cade Horton's set to miss an extended amount of time, like you're leaning on Colin Ray, who's in their bullpen. You're going to lean on Ben Brown more for innings in middle relief. Like that's good for nobody. So there's just so much to be said for stashing as many arms as you can possibly stash. If Woodruff is hurt again this year, Henderson, Gasser are in the minors. Drohan's not far away. Priester's hurt. He's not even in the rotation yet. So that's another arm that they have waiting in the wings. They got pitching coming out of their eyes. And looking back, the Caleb Durbin trade makes so much sense. Spiritually, I didn't like it because I thought it was the team getting cute and trying to show off exactly how much fat they could trim, when in reality, they were adding fat. They weren't trading away fat. They're like, Durbin's whatever. We'll just get David Hamilton and be fine. And I can't remember if the Durbin trade was before or after they signed Renifo, but they'll be the Brewers they obviously knew we'll be fine at third. David Hamilton will be able to be Durbin and probably better. And you're telling us we can get Drohan and Harrison? Or as Matt Arnold would say, we can access Harrison and Drohan, which is such a robotic way of putting it. Stash as much pitching as you can possibly stash. As much as possible. And then when your rotation is filled out, you add a couple more guys. And then after that, see if you can add a little more. Last year, they did it in a slightly different framework. They signed Quintana late in the offseason. They're like, screw it, we'll add one more. And they needed that one more. This year, we thought their rotation and their pitching was rounded out even after they traded away Peralta. And then they added Harrison and Drohan. They added even a little bit more. Just always add more pitching any chance you get. Otherwise, and the Brewers experienced this early in the season last year, two guys get hurt and your pants are down. Or in the case of the Cubs this year, Cade Horton's now all of a sudden hurt. Who knows for how long? Who knows if Justin Steele can come back and when that'll be. You just need pitching. And then when you have enough pitching, you need more. You always need more. Always need more pitching. I wonder if the Red Sox have any more. You got any other any more of those young controllable arms that you want to give away? You sure? Okay. If you do, just go ahead. Give us a call. The Brewers number 414. The number to call this show if you'd like to join, 608-321-1670. It's a free Phones Friday, which means we can continue to talk about this, the trade that the Brewers made, and just Brewers big picture. They'll be back in action tonight on Apple TV. Thank goodness. Grow the game on a streaming service. Great. Excellent. Outstanding. Great. We can talk Brewers. We can talk about this injury to the Cubs, what it means in the NL Central. I'll try to dig and find as much information on that. That's a huge development for the division. Just, 2 weeks into the season, not even now. And of course, we can bounce around. We can talk Packers. We can talk Badgers, whatever you want to talk about. It's a Free Phones Friday. Like I said, to your calls next, 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
There's a pitch in there for a strike. And at no time, Zach, have I ever felt like I was watching a rookie pitcher when I see Cade Horton work. I know he's young, and as I say that now, Craig Counsell is calling for the trainer. Craig, very astute and very observant, noticed that there was something bothering Cade Horton, and I'm not sure exactly what it was, but Nick Frangella, one of the trainers, is out there along with Craig Counsell. Hope it is nothing serious. He's going to leave the game. Cade Horton is going to leave this ball game in the second inning with nobody out. And that is an alarming development.
Pat Hughes, Cubs radio, less than an hour ago now. The Score, WSCR. Cade Horton's hurt. And body language, facial expressions didn't look great. It's forearm discomfort, which normally means, not necessarily, could mean a UCL, but it could just be a flexor strain. But even flexor strains are often precursors to something, which is what we thought with McGill going into the playoffs last year. Now, McGill took a couple weeks off, came back and was really, really good. But there's a difference between a reliever coming back for a postseason run and a starting pitcher coming back in April, right? Those are two different things. Massive development for the division and a rival of the Brewers. But also to bring it back to the Brewers, like that's why you make a Caleb Durbin type trade, which I hated at the time. I know. But that's why you acquire Kyle Harrison and Shane Drohan, even when it seems like, hey, we're good at starting pitching. You're probably not, though. So go and add those arms whenever you can. 608-321-1670. Your calls on this or whatever else. It's Free Phones Friday. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. It's Clemhead.
Clemhead. Happy Good Friday, Clemhead.
Happy Good Friday to you. And remember, most importantly, Jesus loves you, but I'm his favorite. So
is that
just
right?
You need to know.
All right, well, I'm glad we understand that. I like the bumper sticker I see sometimes. Jesus loves you, but everyone else thinks you're an a-hole. Not about you specifically. I feel like I see that bumper sticker every once in a while.
I love that one. I love that one. I've seen that one too. But yeah, I was just kind of calling about the Milwaukee Brewers. Sal Frelick has 3 hits this year, batting 143. Our favorite shortstop, Ortiz, has 6 hits, and he's batting 330 something. What is the deal? And I mentioned it here on the live stream. What is the deal with him going down to his knee in every swing like Lorenzo Cain used to? I don't know if he's going for the fences on every swing or what, but he looks terrible.
He's not off to a good start. And I think he's slumping and stressing a little bit. We saw that on, the last time we watched the Brewers play, I think he was the one guy, he had an at-bat with a couple runners on. He might have been one of the 3 outs in that 8th inning where he came up with guys on and took a swing and popped it up. I think he's pressing. I also think Clemhead, and this came up in our conversation about Terang, he does not have as much natural power, and his swing is not as smooth and natural as some other players. Like my point was when Terang has hit, home runs recently, it looks so smooth and easy. When Frelick hits a homer, it's like he puts every cell in his body into that thing. He really he has to wheel it. So I think, describing the optics of his swing, that's just kind of the type of hitter he is. He doesn't have a lot of natural power, so and he's short. So when you say go to his knee, I mean, he's not going down very far. He's already pretty close to the ground, Yeah,
but he's going to hurt. He's going to have back injuries doing that. That's what happened with Tiger Woods because he always swung his club so violently that he hurt his back and he never, quite recovered. That's what Sal should just stick with a nice smooth swing, be a contact hitter, hit for average, and just quit trying to do what you really can't. He's not built for home run power. He's built for good contact, maybe, drive in some runs, get on base, score some runs. Just leave the home runs to the other guys. they'll pick up the slack for you.
Yeah. So this is one thing. I'm glad you called in and brought this up, Clement. Have a great weekend and a happy Easter. We haven't really talked about Sal Frelick too much, mostly because the team's 5-1. If the team was, 2-4 or 3-3, we'd probably be talking about Frelick's slump a little bit more. And it would probably sound something like, well, without Churio and Vaughn, you're going to need some production somewhere. Sal Frelick is probably the next most experienced guy, other than, the three guys at the top of the lineup who are in some order. And maybe I think Renifo's hitting second tonight, so you might split them up. But those three bats that you trust at the top of the order, Terang, Yelich, Contreras, who else? And without Churio and without Vaughn, even though Frelick doesn't hit for a ton of power and pop, he would be the next bat that I'd look at and say, okay, I expect something from that guy. And he hasn't. The thing is, the Brewers are 5-1. So it's something is like, oh yeah, the Brewers are 5-1 and their offense is finding ways to score. And Frelick really is off to a slow start. And that's all that it is, which good for Sal Frelick. If someone's got a slump, I'd rather slump when everyone else in the lineup is hitting and the team's 5-1, regardless. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. Happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday. Cone Roller. Seems like a little bit of a contradiction of words. We don't celebrate Good Friday. Maybe we participate in Good Friday. I don't know, but happy Friday, regardless. Fins up.
Yeah, a little Holy Week update. My fiance and I yesterday at Mass got singled out to be get our feet washed by the priest. So that was quite an exciting development.
That's a very exciting development. In all of my Holy Thursday Masses, I don't think I ever got my feet washed. Not that it's the bad thing. I've just never, not to my memory. But having the priest do it, that's like getting communion from the priest when you get the 3 or 4 aisles and you get the priest in your section that day. There's a little extra juice there.
Yeah, you got to be a little more reverent.
Yeah, stand up a little straighter. Make sure you hit all your gestures when you write your hand, you sign of the cross. Speak loudly when you say amen, those sorts of things.
Yes. The vocal amen is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
And I'm always a fan of, mixing sports and holidays. So, what in the spirit of Easter, which former Brewer would you resurrect to put on this current Brewers team?
I mean, in my lifetime, I think the answer is just always prime Ryan Braun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's tough not to say Braun or Yount or any of the other greats, but,
Fielder would be
digging
fun.
a little deeper. Yeah, Prince
ahead.
Fielder, power hitting first baseman. Carlos Gomez, we need a little pop in center field. Still good defense, fast. Kind of fits the vibe of this Brewers team under Pat Murphy. Aramis Ramirez at third base. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could go.
What pitcher? Trying to think. I mean, it just depends on the year, right? Like if I could pick out Giovanni Gallardo's best year, I don't think Giovanni Gallardo was any like I don't know that adding prime Giovanni Gallardo onto this team would make them that much better than they are. Prime CC Sabathia would be pretty cool, I guess. That's a true ace.
Would 2017 Junior Guerra do anything for you?
Opening day starter Junior Guerra. You watch your mouth when you're talking about Junior Guerra. Yeah, I don't know. I think Braun or Fielder. Gomez would be a fun Pat Murphy player. That would be a fun marriage. I like that. That's a little bit more of a creative answer than just simply saying Ryan Braun.
He fits this team perfectly. I mean, he could kind of, and like Willie Adames, Carlos Gomez was kind of Willie Adames' mentor. We're kind of missing that clubhouse presence because Yelich is an absolute zero in that regard. So I think Carlos Gomez is my answer.
I like that answer. Hey, have a happy Easter, Cone.
Yeah, have a happy Easter, Grant.
He is risen. That's Cone's Catholic Corner, everybody. That's a new segment. We might have to add that to in the spirit of Easter. Yeah, man, I just miss Ryan Braun. Just such a natural friggin' baseball player. People always talk about how satisfying just that perfect left-handed power swing is. There's nothing better. I know Bronny was a righty, but there's just something so natural and pure. I mean, if you wanted to add a stud starter, Sabathia or Greinke, both in their primes, I'm seeing a lot of Jeff Jenkins. A lot of people, a couple comments on the live stream and on Twitter now saying Jeff Jenkins. That'd be kind of fun. I was trying to think of the best, third baseman of my lifetime, Ramirez, but that just felt like such a one-off. Casey McGee for 1 year was friggin' awesome. If this was next year, I'd say Lucroy, because I think they're probably going to trade Contreras this offseason, and they should. I always see people pay Contreras. No. You trade him for a haul. Now you got to figure out the future at that position. Hopefully it's Jefferson Caro. But no, we do not pay. No, we don't pay. We don't pay anybody. That's my new that's my advanced baseball take. It used to be never pay relievers. Now I just think it never pay anybody. They'll get hurt and they'll suck. Don't pay anybody. You do have to figure out catcher into the future. But just for this year's team, Lucroy would be probably a little much. But next year, post-Contreras trade, Lucroy would be a pretty nice fit if we're going to kick around some names. Continue to take your thoughts on this. I also need to address a little bit of Brewers-Cubs rivalry. I don't know if there's a better way of putting that. A Brewers-Cubs rivalry moment that I saw on Twitter earlier today that I got a good laugh at that I want to share out with you guys. Let's take one more call here before we go to break. Let's go Sports Show. Who's this?
Dean, how you doing?
Hey, Dean. It's been a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I gave it up for Lent, but Good Friday. You're working, I'm calling. We're good for it.
Hell yeah. Well, what's up?
I liked, this is a baseball call, but I liked when the GM of the Bucks was saying, I'm not going to let Giannis go into his last year without having either an extension or trading him. That would be GM malpractice. And that might be obvious, but I thought it was pretty well framed in terms of the William Contreras and these last couple trades they've done with their stars. Like Willie Adames, we knew he was going into his last year. Was that malpractice? I thought so at the time, but they've gotten so much value for those other guys. Obviously, that's not what they've done with like the Durbin trade, et cetera. But I do completely think that you got to trade William Contreras this year, regardless of his production, even if he's an MVP. And as a side note, it seems like to me in the scripture, the washing of the feet should be a sacrament. I know they've got 7 sacraments, but that's the one that he's basically saying, like, you guys better do this to each other. And then they have some reason why that's not a sacrament. I don't get it. Hopefully people who don't have their feet washed aren't going straight to hell. I don't think that, but I don't really read it any other way than everybody should be washing feet all the time. But that's just me. So see you later.
That's a great call, Dean. Again, we're in Cone's Catholic Corner. If anyone has anything to say, should foot washing be a sacrament? 608-321-1670. We can discuss that. We can also kick around the very preemptive take of should they or shouldn't they trade William Contreras. And also there was a bit of a nice rivalry moment between Brewers and Cubs fans on the internet that I had to have a good laugh at. So we'll address that next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Talking about the Brewers too, 5-1, top of the division. Cardinals 4-2, Pirates, Reds, Cubs all at 3-3. The Brewers leading Major League Baseball at a +28 run differential. Thank you, White Sox.
Here we go again. With this damn Brewers team.
If I'm allowed one irrational take in this episode, it's that I am so sick of them. Like I'm already just accepting the devil magic. I'm already just.
It's 6 games in, Dan. I think I'm gonna have to bring up the Brewers at least once a show, regardless of talking about them or not. Just so that Cody can talk about the devil magic.
I cannot emphasize enough how much my disdain for the Milwaukee Brewers has grown over the last 7 or 8 years now, and I want to use the whole flying the L thing as some curse for them, but they're 5-1, and it's annoying. You trade away Freddie Peralta, you trade away Caleb Durbin and Isaac Collins, and of course, Caleb Durbin doesn't even have a hit yet for the Red Sox. So of course he doesn't, after being a 3+ win player for the Brewers last year. They just remind me of the Cardinals when I was a kid. Everything they did just went right, and it doesn't make any sense. They bring up these random dudes that you've never heard of in your entire life, and they just produce for you. It's
all right. Well, it's a little bit from the 312 Sports Chicago podcast. Dan Bernstein's on there, but the voice you hear, Cody Del Mundo, who's a little bit of a heel on the Cubs side of the Brewers-Cubs rivalry. The flying the L flag, that whole thing. So they say it's the curse of the L flag, the curse of the doors, curse of the L flag. That they're really trying to make stick on the internet led to a hilarious development today that I have to share with you. It's a little nerdy. It's a little bit on the internet, but I think even those of you who are like, Grant, Twitter's a waste of time. I'd like to think that even you folks might get a kick out of this. But it is a Free Phones Friday. We got open phone lines, so jump in. You can join me to discuss whatever you want. 608-321-1670. The previous segment, we got a real doozy on Catholicism from Dean asking, should foot washing be a sacrament? We can embrace debate on that. 608-321-1670. Segment of Cone's Catholic Corner. So, to this rivalry, Brewers-Cubs. This is, I think, the closest thing in my lifetime to what I'm told the Cold War was. There's very rarely shots fired in this rivalry. And by that, I mean, there's very rarely games played. I mean, the Brewers and the Cubs might play each other 3 or 4 series throughout the summer, which means, let's say, 15 days out of a 365-day year. I mean, there's not a lot of live action between these two teams. But it certainly feels like it's ongoing. It certainly feels like the two parties involved are always going at it, even though there's very rarely actual bullets flying, which I'm told, again, with the Cold War, well, it wasn't cold. There was plenty of fighting, in Korea. So not to lightly compare, I realize it's, there was a war, people died. I'm not trying to be disingenuous, but this Brewers-Cubs thing, there's always back and forth going, even if there's not games being played. And for the last couple of months, the biggest thing that I've seen kind of keep coming up is the Chicago side of this rivalry. Anytime something bad happens to a Wisconsin sports team, they say, it's the curse of the L flag. Because the Brewers, after beating the Cubs, held up the L flag on the field for a picture, just because I think a fan threw one on there. And they're like, I don't care, F it, we'll pose with that. I don't think it's a thing they schemed. Let's keep an L flag in the dugout. We'll pull that thing out if we win. I don't think that's what happens. And even if so, who cares? Even if they did. But a lot of from the Chicago side is anything, again, bad happens in Wisconsin. It's curse of the L flag, the L flag. This reached a fever pitch in the last 48 hours when the obvious shirts guy, he makes t-shirts, Cubs t-shirts, but a prominent, let's say, a preeminent Cubs Twitter account. I'm going to read you this post that he had when he was asked if he's still crying about a flag. And I think to really hammer home this insane tweet that I love, I need a little Ken Burns type music. Here we go. This is perfect. This is what the guy tweeted when he was asked if he was still crying about a flag. This guy says, what's funny about the whole L flag situation is that the Brewers fans have zero understanding of the flag's purpose, history, and significance. New paragraph. This is on Twitter. During the Great Depression, a flag was flown to be that day's scoreboard. It was the simplest and easiest way to signify won or lost to the surrounding population. Brewers fans think the L flag means that the Cubs lost. It doesn't. In fact, it signifies a win or a loss to whomever is flying it. It's like conquering a territory and celebrating by waving that territory's white flag. You are literally calling yourselves losers and think it's a flex. Had you flown the W flag, now that would have felt like a punch in the face, but you didn't. I think we've lost the plot a little bit with this Brewers Cubs rivalry. It's like, well, actually, the L flag. Here's why it's funny. I said this at the time. Cubs fans can make fun of the Brewers for losing to the Dodgers. They didn't look very good. They got swept. I think in doing so, I think there's an inherent loserness to celebrating a playoff loss by a rival team that went further than you. I think if your team is eliminated and then your mission as a fan is to cheer against the team that's going farther than you, you can do that. I do it. But I'm a loser when I do it. It's a loser thing. But sometimes in sports, we're losers. That's fine. I was cheering against the Bears when they played the Rams in the postseason this last year. That made me a loser. And I think it's fine to fully admit that I'm cheering against the Bears and I'm getting satisfaction from cheering against the Bears in the playoffs if I also admit it makes me a loser. I'm fine with Cubs fans making fun of the Brewers for losing to the Dodgers in the playoffs. I'm fine with that. if there's some recognition of like, yeah, but this makes us losers because the Brewers beat the Cubs. So there's a certain etiquette. I swear I'm the only one who understands this stuff. It's so easy for me. Everyone else struggles with it so much. I cheer against the Bears when they go farther than the Packers in the playoffs. But in doing so, I recognize that I'm a loser. Cubs fans can make fun of the Brewers. Just recognize you're a loser. I also said at the time when this whole L flag business, the curse of the L flag, when this started, I said, it's almost a sign of respect. It's a sign of reverence. I know it's not, it doesn't seem that way. And I don't think the Brewers were not in showing reverence or significance. But here's the thing. When you mock another team's thing, you are solidifying that thing. So when other teams make fun of the cheeseheads, they're showing that the cheesehead is such an institution and it's such a thing that it's reached the point where now we mock it. And that's fine. That's good. That's a good sports rivalry thing. So when Brewers fans fly the L flag, although this gentleman tells me that it's actually a self-own, what did he say here? In the Great Depression? Brewers fans thinks the L flag means the Cubs lost. It doesn't. It means a win or a loss to whomever is flying it. It's like conquering a territory and celebrating it by waving that territory's white flag, which is a little silly because a white flag is a white flag in any territory. I get what the guy's saying. You are literally calling yourselves losers and think it's a flex. So again, this is hearkening back to the Great Depression, hence the Ken Burns music. In flying the L flag, the Brewers players it's almost a tip of the cap to the tradition of the W flag. Your thing is such a tradition, and it's an established thing. It's an institution to the point where we can mock it, which is good. I don't understand why I'm the only one who understands this stuff. And also, Brewers fans, Cubs fans who wake up every day and are like, how can we fight each other on the internet? I guess you could do whatever you want, but just go outside and get a little fresh air every once in a while. Brewers and Cubs haven't even played yet. Brewers are playing the Royals. Just take a breath. Let's take a phone call here. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hi, Grant. This is John.
Hey, John. What's going on?
I got a grape, and it's about the loser mentality. And so last time I called into this show was about, 2 years ago. It was when Craig Counsell went to the Cubs.
Okay.
And I remember at the time, you were like, oh, this is a big nothing burger. This is just whatever. I was pretty upset about it because, they went to our biggest rivals. And you know what you did? You hung up on me. That is a loser mindset.
You wait. I was saying it was a big nothing burger?
Yep.
John, I don't want to argue with you. I think you're misremembering, man. I think you were listening to the wrong show. This
is etched into my brain. There's a reason I haven't called back until now. And you're talking about losers, and the biggest loser mindset is hanging up on a caller.
John, I don't think that happened, man. I might have hung up on you. I very rarely hang up on callers. I've done it a couple times. The day that Craig Counsell went to the Cubs, man, I was blowing my lid. I've been blowing my lid on it for 2 or 3 years now. I don't want to tell you you're wrong. I think you're misremembering, or you're gaslighting me. Am I being put on right now?
No, you're not getting put on. There's a reason. You were literally just like, oh, it's whatever. It's like, you should be mad, but don't take it out of proportion. Well, I was taking it because I was angry.
You should have been. You absolutely should have been.
Sounds like you're doing a 180 now.
I 180 on a lot of things. This is not interesting. I think I'm being put on right now.
Very, very interesting indeed.
I think I'm being baited. So wait, one more time, just so I have this correctly. You called in to be mad about Craig Counsell, and I told you to not be mad.
Yes, you told me to not take it out of proportion, not be mad, and while you're going on your whole spiel, you hung up on me and wouldn't even let me say goodbye.
Okay. I just want to make sure I remember you. I appreciate the call, John. Please call back. Occasionally, I do hang up on someone. It's more for performative reasons. Like when UWL Thomas calls in and it's the day after a Packer game and he wants to talk about UW Eau Claire versus UWL. And I'm like, Thomas, I gotta So it's performative, right? Like another time, Thomas. I think a guy was putting me on. I don't remember everything. I am 99% sure that there's no way that could have happened. I think I'm being debated. I think you called a different show. Wisco Grebe says, let's go back to the tapes. Well, now I'm kind of interested. Now I want to go back and listen to the show when Council left, because I feel like there's not a chance in hell. I told the caller to calm down on Council. That seems like, I don't know, intriguing. All right, let's take one more call here. Maybe someone can corroborate this. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, I swear you'd be the worst murderer ever. I mean, if you were OJ, you would have just confessed on the spot.
What do you mean?
Didn't say that. That guy's making that up. There's no way.
Well, I'm trying not to be a jerk to the. I'm trying not to be a jerk to the guy. I can't. I don't remember everything that happens on the show, but I cannot. I don't believe that guy.
You didn't do that 100%. Hey, last time I called you, I abruptly didn't know what to talk about or say anything. I got hit. I got a fender bender. Some dude hit me from behind.
Some dude hit you from behind?
Well, no. What are we thinking here? Come on now.
Sorry. No, Tony in Texas. You're right. Let me get my head out of the gutter. Sorry. Are you okay? Is your vehicle okay?
Yes, that's fine. No whiplash or anything like that. No Kramer neck band or anything needed during brace. But, really quick about that loser mindset. I actually like when a team plays a winning song and a losing song at a ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Packers, they kind of do that, but they don't really lean into it. I know I was at a playoff game, of course, a playoff loss because they usually lose at home.
Mm-hmm.
It was against the Giants, a 2007 championship game. I'm not a big Mellencamp fan, but then they played that small town afterwards. And I kind of I'm like, oh, well, all right. Yeah, small town lost to the big city Giants. And then they play that Black Eyed Peas song whenever they win. Not a Black Eyed Peas fan, but Fergie's not bad. But yes.
I think the Black Eyed Peas are better than people remember them. I think people remember them as trash, and they're absolutely not trash. I think they're kind of good. But the Brewers do it. I think they put, in the past, I don't know about this year, but in the past they played Glory Days after a win, right? I think.
Glory Days, there you go. And I remember they used to say, the PA announcer, we need better PA announcers too. We're the guys that just have a certain type of delivery, a PA guy. I remember, and this is going out to all my Milwaukee Brewer fans, my guy Ron, what's his name? From West Dallas. Who's our guy?
Big Ron.
Big Ron, yeah. They would always say after the game, please drive home safely.
Mm-hmm. And please drive home safely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I don't really have anything on your topic about losers, but we just need to have, every city's got to have their own little delivery, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. I appreciate it. I'm not hanging up on you. It's just time to take a break. That guy did have one bar in his call, though. He said the biggest loser mindset is hanging up on a caller. That was a bar. I think he was either putting me on or he was misremembering what show he was calling. If there is nobody in this state angry at Craig Counsell, then that means I am 6 feet under, or I'm in another state, but more likely 6 feet under. I'd find a way. Let's take a break here. We'll wrap up the first hour of the show next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Mills on the Wisconsin Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
All right, Wisco Sports Show. Got to be quick here. I want to sneak in a call before the top of the hour. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Fins up there, my friend.
Fins up, Denny and Holman.
I hope you and your family have a nice Easter this year, and I hope if you're traveling that you're safe.
Well, I appreciate that, Denny. Thank you. You as well. To you and yours.
So, looking forward to the Final Four this weekend and for the championship on Monday. It's nice if a Big Ten team can win it all. That'd be great.
Is that what we want? Are we going to cheer for Illinois or Michigan? Because I rather would have pulled for – I wasn't going to pull for Purdue. I would pull wholeheartedly for Izzo and Michigan State. I think I'm going to root against Michigan. I don't want to see Michigan.
I know, and I agree with you. I mean, Izzo is just one of the most special coaches. Him and Bobby Knight basically, they were just outstanding at what they did,
Correct. I also, Denny, I think this tournament has already been an overwhelming success for the Big Ten to the point where, if they don't win the national title now, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, what happened to the Big Ten? The Big Ten, I thought the Big Ten was so good. I think they did the thing, even if they don't, win the national title, in my opinion.
So, and then looking forward to seeing when, you can finally call some free agents up, see if the Packers make any moves or if they're just going to wait until the draft. Maybe Gutekunst will see something that he likes and move up. Who knows? They don't have that many picks in the early rounds,
They don't.
But,
I wonder, Denny, and I got to run. I appreciate it. Have a good Easter. I wonder if he looks to add some picks. We talked a little bit about Dontavian Wicks and how the Jets were interested. I wonder if they get closer to the draft and, they can get a player in a late round pick or something for Dontavian Wicks. Could they get like Harrison Phillips in a fifth, add a little draft capital? I would be shocked to see Brian Gutekunst jump up because I don't think they need one stud player at one position. They need a sprinkling here and there. And trading up is not the way you get a sprinkling. So we can talk more about that on the other side. It's a Free Phones Friday, so call me on whatever you want. 608-321-1670. We'll get a quick update from Zach Heilprin. We're right back at it. 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Zone Update.
Brewers off to a 5-1 start for the second time in 3 years. They're going to look to add to the win total tonight when they take on the Royals in Kansas City. First out to done across the board. They're top 5 in most of the major stat categories at the plate and on the mound. That includes leading the majors in steals and RBIs, while sitting third in team ERA and strikeouts. Baseman Bryce Terang says it's easy to see why they're winning.
Up and down our lineup, our pitching staff do a very good job of controlling what they can control, and pitchers did a good job keeping us in the game. The offense did a good job having quality at bats and scoring runs, and that's how you win a game. So we controlled what we can, and it worked out in our favor.
Tonight, the Colonel sent Chad Patrick on, went 4 to 3 innings, gave up 1 run on 5 hits in his season debut. The Royals pair with Winder Avila will make his first major league start. First pitch is set for 6:40 in Kansas City. Turning the Bucks, they're going to face off against the Celtics tonight at 5:30 home. Milwaukee has just 6 games left this year. Tip is at 7.
ABC of Wisconsin is the largest apprenticeship program in the state, with more than 2,000 active apprentices in 12 different skilled trades. In the ABC apprenticeship program, you earn while you learn on the job, get paid to go to class, and graduate with a job in your craft, but without the huge college debt. Explore 12 different construction trades in one spot at buildyourcareer.wi.org, or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Wisconsin hockey team is prepping for its first Frozen Four appearance in 16 years. They're going to head to Las Vegas next weekend to face North Dakota in one of the semifinals. The winner will get either Michigan or Denver in the national championship game. And the NFL draft now less than 3 weeks away, and the Badgers back from spring break on Tuesday to continue spring practice. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Larry's in Andover on the Red Sox. Go ahead, Larry.
Bear with me. The first suggestion is let's take Nate Eaton out of Worcester, bring him up, and send Durbin not back to Worcester. Send him back to the Brewers free. You can have him. No gratis, anything.
A big trade for us, and something that we've looked at for a while and felt like our ability to add multiple arms, Harrison plus a Drohan, the combination of adding those guys is really exciting for us.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Hour number 2, a Free Phones Friday, a Feel Good Friday, a Fish Fry Friday, certainly a Free Phones Friday. 608-321-1670. Call me on whatever you want. Been a baseball-heavy show. Some significant news this afternoon in the NL Central. Cade Horton left with forearm discomfort. Did not look good. He looked pretty torn up going into the clubhouse. So hopefully it's nothing crazy, but that could be a seismic injury for the Cubs and for the NL Central. And to bring it back to the Brewers, I think that's why you make that type of trade they made with Caleb Durbin. It's like, wait, you're telling me we can get 2 more arms who are young, controllable, stuff we like, Drohan and Harrison? It's why we're always adding, always add pitching. Always. So the Brewers have a ton of depth. Gasser, Henderson, Priester's not in the rotation yet. Drohan's down there. You know, seeing a crucial arm for another team go down in the divisions, just a reminder, like, that's why you need depth. So I've been watching the Cubs out of the corner of my eye. It's 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Colin Ray came in and pitched pretty well in relief of Cade Horton. He left in the 2nd. Also worth noting, Caleb Durbin got his first hit today. RBI, I believe the Red Sox won as well. I stopped paying attention after after Durbin watch ended. After my watch ended, I stopped paying attention to the Red Sox. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. It's Matt from Madison. How you doing?
It's good, Matt Madison. I thought maybe for a sec this was Matt in Cross Plains, who's our resident Cubs fan, and I was going to say, you are not having a good one, Matt in Cross Plains.
That'd be fun to needle him. You know, I was watching that game a little bit in the background as I was working, and it was 1-0. I saw him tied up 1-1. So that's a good time, the Guardians. But anyway, I remember when Council left vividly and exactly what you said, because I thought it was a Judas move overall. And especially the fact that from memory, I think Brewers offered him like $32 million and he went for $40. And I thought, why would you ever trade your character over $8 million? I mean, obviously $8 million is a lot of money, but like 32 versus 40, you're already rich is my point. And you succinctly played his press conference when he was first announced by the Brewers.
Oh, yeah.
He was going on and on and on and on and on about, you know, being a Wisconsin guy through and through and everything else. And that's where the character assassination of himself, I think, comes into play. And I always think of the Bob Dylan song now when I think of Great Council. With that, I hope that you'll die and your death will come soon as it relates to Masters of War. So that's one point. And I also have a follow-on story if you'll indulge it, but I'll let you follow up with that first.
No. I want to hear your story. There's nothing that I could possibly add to what you just said about council that you didn't already say. So what's next, Matt?
All right. So I think it was Tony from Texas. You mentioned PA announcers. So, I go to a few Brewer games every once in a while, and, we had a few cocktails, and basically Terang hit a, monster 2 years ago. And so we started singing a song and went, two-ring, 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 two-ring. He's so fun. That echoes. That's like a 60 song.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I got to spread the word. So I went to the PA announcer. He's got a mustache guy. He seems pretty cool. I finally got his attention. I go, hey, man, you got to play this as the walk-up song. The crowd will go nuts, kind of like old school 80s when the crowd would go nuts over those kind of things, right? And he's like, nah, you got to tell Terang that yourself. I can't control the walk-up song.
I feel like they pick their songs, right?
Yeah, exactly. So fast forward to spring training, and I'm like, I purposely make my way down to where I happen to be there for work or whatever. I make my way down to where the batter's circle is. And I go, hey, Mr. Terang, I got something for you. And he's like, he kind of looks me off. He brushes me off. And finally, after a couple pitches, he looks at me and goes, all right, what do you got? And I did the exact same thing right to him. And he looks at me, he's like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, that's.
So, anyway, I thought I'd share that one. And so anyway, he needs to pick up on that because I think the stadium would go nuts on it.
So I'm with you, Matt. That's a great call. I appreciate the council commentary. Anytime we can relitigate his decision to go to Chicago, I'm there. I will platform that. Despite what that caller said in the last hour, I think he was misremembering or putting me on, maybe a little bit of both. If Terang had given you any other reaction other than just a blank stare, I would have been concerned about Bryce Terang. That man, he had a comment to Sophia. I want to get back to the calls. Can you just give me a sec to find the soundbite? Bryce Terang, and this does not make him a bad guy. I have never heard someone just more just flatline, just not much to say, relaxed, not animated. He had a comment in his back and forth with Sophia. I'm just going to guess that it was about halfway through. Let me clip this. We're just going to jump in. He had one of the all-time Terang quotes, and there are many. Let's jump in here. I know I can find it.
And when that's on, it's on. And so very impressed, very fun to watch and play behind.
You dropped out a great bunt as part of that 6-run 8th inning, just the collective approach in that inning, Bryson, how you guys have been able to put the ball in play so much to put together those big innings.
Yeah, it's just moving the line, moving to the next guy, having quality at bats, making him throw strikes, and then doing your job, moving a guy over or scoring them. And the guys did just that. And good things happen when you do things.
That's such a bar. Good things happen when you do things. Hold on. I need to save that in case I can't lose that again. I need to keep my hands up. That's the soundbite of the year so far.
Good things happen when you do things.
That's as good as it gets. That's Bryce Terang. So when you say he just gave me a look, like if he would have given you any reaction other than, I would have been concerned.
Good things happen when you do things.
608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. Thanks for taking my call. This is Ben in West Bend.
Hey, Ben. What's
New
going on?
listener, first-time caller.
Appreciate that.
Long-time appreciator of on Bart Winkler's Into the Winklerverse.
What an outstanding podcast.
Excellent. I got a bone to pick with you about Luke Fickell, though.
Okay.
And, I'd agree with you if in year 1 or 2 he started recruiting in state, but it's been too long, and the ship is sunk, and it's not coming back afloat. So I wish we would cut ties with him and just move on.
So, Ben in West Bend, I appreciate it. Please keep listening, keep calling. We need more Milwaukee representation. Here's the thing on Fickell. I think, so first of all, in the in-state recruiting, Zach pointed this out during Thorson and Heilprin last night. I think he's absolutely right. And I think a lot of Badgers fans missed the mark on this, and I missed the mark on this. We just assume that there's 10 or 12 great in-state recruits every year, and the Badgers should get most of them. Some years they're not. Some years there are not scholarship athletes, or put it this way, There are years where there's not a single football player in the state of Wisconsin deserving of a scholarship at UW. Some years. Now, this year, there's a bunch, or Wisconsin seems to think there are a bunch. And listening to Zach and Jesse, the Mallinger twins and others, this running back who they got to commit from today, made it 8 of 8 in this recruiting class of 2027. Like this year, there's more. So that's going to wax and wane and ebb and flow from year to year. I'm with you, though, Ben. It seems like Luke Fickell did a 3-year dipsy-do to arrive in the same spot that the program was in when he got here. When he got here, the program was recruiting in the state, building the O-lines, running the ball, playing defense. And now 3 years later, Luke Fickell has now made it his mission to recruit in the state, to build O-lines, and to run the football and to play defense. So, like, the idea of the Luke Fickell hire, and Vagabond John is wax poetic about this, the bastard's probably on hold right now. The idea was Luke Fickell was supposed to come in and maintain the level with which Paul Chryst was coaching and add to it. The goal was not, hey, we think you can come in here and build the program back to what it was under Paul Chryst, which is what he's trying to do now, and it's taking him 3 years. And even if all these in-state guys are great, they're not going to be on the team until 2027. A lot of them won't play significant roles until after 2027. And if the Badgers suck this year, Luke Fickell's going to get fired. Half those players probably end up at Indiana anyways. So I am with you in your frustration, Ben. To all the people on Twitter, I've seen a lot of the scary Alvarez's, those types of accounts of the world, the Locked On Badgers types of accounts. Nothing against those guys, but it's always the commentaries like, where are the haters now? I was told he couldn't recruit in state. It's like, okay, well, I guess maybe the 4th year is the charm. I guess you just needed 3 years to figure it out. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Uncle Packer.
Hey, Uncle Packer. What's going on? I'm doing good.
Fins up, and thanks for letting me talk. I appreciate it. I think you're so dead on with this Luke Fickell, Packer. Excuse me, the Badger talk. I'm right with you. I don't care how they do it, who does it. I want to go back to Wisconsin football. I want to go back to recruiting in state. I want first-round offensive linemen going out of Wisconsin. I want that kind of stuff. Yeah. And who knows, if we get a running game, we might be able to try his air raid or whatever, who turns around. Who cares? Let's just get back to Wisconsin football.
Well, and so I agree. The frustrating thing is who originally, Uncle Packer, took it away from Wisconsin football. It was Luke Fickell, the guy who's now trying to course correct. I know. So look, what's done is done, Dad. Are you going to invest or not? Like 3 years ago, like they tried the air raid, it didn't work, and now they're trying to fix it. So it does not behoove us to waste a ton of time whining about what happened. They're now, I think, on the right path and doing the right things. I just think for Fickell specifically, it might be too little too late. That's my worry.
Yep, you're right, but it's a start. If that keeps going and we keep, recruiting the local kids and getting back to that, I want that to happen. I miss that. I lived through the Ron Dane and all that stuff. That was so great. Rose Bowls, it was awesome. It was a great thing. I was in Vegas for the first Rose Bowls, and it was amazing to be there with all the Badger fans.
It was a fun brand, and I don't go back as far, but I can talk about Bielema, and there was a weird Gary Anderson stretch in there, but then Chryst, for the most part, well, I wouldn't even say for the most part, just about every year, you could count on it being a fun, entertaining product that would give them a chance to win big time games against big time opponents. Wouldn't happen often. Right. But every couple of years you could bang it. Put it this way, Uncle Packer, if I'm recruiting you to come play at UW, if you give me 4 years and you invest in this program, we're going to have some special moments together. We're going to upset Ohio State. We're going to, beat Michigan. At some point in your career here, we're going to do something. We're going to go to a bowl game and we're going to win. Now it's not only are they not doing that, they're getting their clock cleaned by Iowa every year.
Oh yeah. It's bad. It's bad. I wanted to come back, and I think with the changes, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You got to win, and it's such a different game. I don't know how who's going to do it or how they're going to do it, but anything that forward, we're talking about recruiting local kids. Yeah, makes me happy. Hey, I want to talk about the Brewers real quick. Last year, they were pretty bad at the beginning, and we were throwing their stuff around oh my God, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
This year, do you think the Brewers can run the table from start to finish in first in the National? Can they do that? Are they that good?
So that's an interesting topic. I will answer that, Uncle Packer. You have an excellent weekend, okay? And a happy Easter.
All right, thanks.
All right, you have a good one. I think that's more of a question about the other teams. I think the Brewers are who they are, and I think they're going to win a lot of series. I don't know that they'll win 95 games, but I'm pretty sure they'll be pretty solid. They have so much pitching depth, and I know their relievers are going to be nuts. And when Churio gets back, Vaughn comes back, like they have a style of baseball that they own, and it's good, and it works, and it's going to win them games. Them leading the division wire to wire is more about, do the Cubs have a hot streak or do the Reds have a hot streak? Because I kind of know what the Brewers are going to be. And I don't think they're going to have any long, miserable stretches. They might not have winning streaks with the same pace they had last year. So when you ask if they can lead wire to wire, to me, that's more of a question on whether the Cubs can get hot and play at a high level. That's not really my bailiwick. I watch them. I pay attention. They're down 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th right now. Cleveland's put together a little rally, and Cade Horton just got hurt, and it looks serious. So I don't know. That's a question about the rest of the division, and I don't know enough about the other teams to be able to confidently answer that, Uncle Packer. And thank you for your Badgers thoughts as well. Let's do this again. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant, it's Ron in Jersey. How are you? Fins up Friday, baby.
Hey, Big Ron, fins up. You hear Tony talking about your voice, your signature sound?
Yes, I heard him. He's talking about PA announcers. What I miss about the old County Stadium is they used to have this graphic where they said, "Don't be a two-fisted slobber."
Mm-hmm.
And they had this guy who, had to have a beer in each hand, and it was just drunk and getting belligerent. And I remember that. And then the other thing I remember about County Stadium is the original Bernie's Chalet.
Yep.
Was a keg of beer where Bernie would slide from a keg into a mug of beer. They embraced the beer. I mean, the name of the team is the Brewers,
Yep.
What's with, making a new Bernie's, Chalet like family friendly? I think it should go back to the keg of beer.
They made it woke, is what I'm hearing. Well, when I was young, what I remember is the Kalahari splash zone. They would go down and it would poof, and it said big Kalahari across the front, like there's little Wisconsin Dells. So that's not as, classic as the big mug of beer. But the Kalahari splash zone seems to have more character than what they have now. I can't even think if they have anything now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But so my betting pick for the weekend is I like the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Okay.
Money line, -120, just to win outright. It's a tight spread, so you don't have to pay much of a premium. They got a really good perimeter player. I forget his name, but he is really good. He's gonna be a NBA draft pick. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I haven't seen any Yeah, he's a stud, man. And they got some good height underneath. I don't know if UConn's going to be able to play with them. Plus, I think the UConn coach. I don't think this is an original take, but I think the UConn coach is a jerk.
You think he's a douchebag? That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, he's a total douchebag.
I do not have a strong stance on Dan Hurley one way or the other. If people are like, wow, he shouldn't be doing that with refs, I'm like, okay, I see that. And if people are like, I love him, he's got an edge and that affects his players, I'm like, okay, I see both sides of the Dan Hurley argument. I just, as kind of an impartial middleman, I just think he's good for the sport. Like, I want more coaches like that. I want more hateable coaches. I want more lovable coaches. I want more coaches that cause controversy. Like, I think that's good for the sport.
Yeah, he's a Jersey guy. You know who's we were talking about third baseman for the Brewers. Underrated third baseman, Kevin Seitzler. Kevin Seitzler. Remember him? He was underrated, man.
Mm-hmm. Is that who you'd bring back on this resurrection weekend? That was Cohn's question. Who you would bring back to the Brewers if you could pick one guy?
Yeah, Bob's too easy. I mean, and they're really not lacking for outfield depth, especially when Churio gets back. So
that's true.
Yeah, I bring back Kevin Seitzer.
All right. Well, I love that. I love that answer, Big Ron. Have a good weekend, okay? Happy Easter.
Take care, man. Fins up.
Fins up, Big Ron. So one quick comment on, you know what? Let's do this. We'll take one more call, then we'll go to break, and I'll get into a little college basketball because I can tell you my thoughts on the Final Four. Big Ron will tell you who wins. He's a lot sharper than I am. I have no clue who's going to win. I'll just give you my thoughts on the Final Four and the teams that are there. But first, one more call. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant, Nick, and Marinette. How you doing, buddy? I couldn't hang on this afternoon too long with you and Bill.
Oh, that's okay, Nick. Well, I'm glad you found time to call back. What's going on?
Yeah, boy. So I guess a couple questions here. you have Wisconsin and Michigan in the Frozen Four.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a Badger Wolverine rematch. The Badgers are surprisingly there after beating Michigan State. You have 2 out of the 4 in the Final Four. I mean, is this a year where you can say the Big Ten can prove to the SEC and the world that we're more dominant and that we could be that way for years to come?
So here's the thing. Hockey might be a little different, and I don't know anything about hockey. Okay, so don't take so the Frozen Four is Michigan, Denver, Wisconsin, North Dakota. I think hockey is different because you don't, the playoffs, for example, included Mankato and Cornell and Quinnipiac. There's hockey schools that aren't thought of as big time powerhouses, but in football and basketball, and I was talking with a listener about this earlier today. I think these last 2 or 3 years have just shown us the Big Ten has more money, man. Like the Big Ten, the graduates and the alums and the boosters of Indiana, Nebraska, Michigan, they just they have it in a way that the grads of Alabama, LSU, Florida don't. And I know football matters to those schools in the South, but there's more money in the North. Like the Big Ten just has more money. And I think it's as simple as that.
You know, it's funny you asked me this afternoon if I had a question about the Packers when you and Bill were talking about it with Favre and Love. And I kind of thought about one. I said, so I was going to say this year with Matt LaFleur knowing that he kind of walked in the back door of a new contract, is this the year he lets Jordan Love loose to let him see what he actually does? Or does he actually hold him back and be conservative like he has with him? Because like you guys said, there's no fire in Jordan Love. He doesn't have the Aaron Rodgers or the Brett Favre in him when you're down by 5 points with 2 minutes left. So when do they finally let the reins loose? Now?
So maybe, and I think that's a great, Nick, have a great weekend, okay? Yep. Nick up in Marinette. I got to get a break in. I can address that. We can hit that for 10 minutes because a lot of Packers fans are interested in this. When is Matt LaFleur going to let Jordan Love loose? And on one hand, I get that. On another, I'm a little confused by the idea. We can also talk about the Final Four. We'll be back. Just a 3-minute break. No need to go anywhere. I swear, 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show, welcome back. Some great calls in the first segment of the hour. We'll get back to that here after 5:30. It's a Free Phones Friday, so call in whatever you want. You can bounce from thing to thing, 608-321-1670. I want to get to the Final Four, but our previous caller, Nick up in Marinette, wanted to talk a little bit about Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, and I've heard Nick's sentiment from a lot of people. I've heard that take from a lot of people. Seen it a lot online. I've heard it in calls and comments on Bill's show where it's like, is this the year Matt LaFleur really trusts Jordan Love to turn it loose, where he lets Jordan Love cook because people are looking for progression from Jordan Love from year to year? I think Jordan Love took a pretty substantial leap from year 2 to year 3. So 2 years ago to this last season that we just watched. There was a lot of growth. First of all, he had a real stinky interception or two. But other than that, played really clean football. And I'd argue, folks, we're so focused on the Packers. This is why during football season, I always tell you, just watch a couple other games. I understand if you're not someone who wants to watch football all day Sunday, every Monday night, every Thursday night, but just occasionally mix in another game, because you'll find when you watch Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Matthew Stafford, that every once in a while, you'll see one of those guys throw a hammer-headed interception, where it's like, what was he looking at? Because we think we're so contained in Green Bay and Wisconsin and the Packers. It's like, how did Jordan Love throw that? Like, yeah, that was a bad one. And he had one of those against the Panthers. There was probably one or two. He didn't have very many this last year, but there was one or two. The point is always like when he throws picks, they're always the worst picks in the world. I'm telling you, watch other teams, watch other quarterbacks. Mahomes every once in a while will just throw the worst pass you've ever, like, what was he looking at? It happens. So I think in a certain sense, like, people are expecting the standard of excellence from Jordan Love. They're just never going to get. So just zoom out a little bit, compare him to other quarterbacks in the league. It's like, oh yeah, even Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have a boneheaded turnover here and there. It happens. But over the course of the season, can you really limit those? Can you protect the football on balance and limit, that brain fart to once a month, every other month, and not let it completely and totally derail the game? I thought Jordan Love was really good with that in year 2. His protection was not good. They didn't have a running game, and their offense remained really productive. So I think Jordan Love took a step. Now, a lot of Packers fans are wanting, okay, now the step from year 3 to year 4 is Matt LaFleur giving him control. He needs more control at the line of scrimmage. He needs, more freedom to throw the ball. And I think in some ways that's true. I would have liked to see Matt LaFleur let Jordan Love cook last year in lieu of running the ball when it was clear they couldn't run. There were so many weeks last year where it was so clear and obvious that they couldn't get it blocked. They could not run the ball. And for so many of those games, Matt LaFleur just kept trying. It's like, Matt, you can't be in 3rd and 9 every series. You can't be in 2nd and 10 every series. On 2nd and 10, you can't hand the ball off when you can't run the ball and put your quarterback in 3rd and 8 every time. So it's not that Matt LaFleur didn't let Jordan Love cook last year, in my opinion. It was more Matt LaFleur was much too insistent on trying to run the ball when it was clear that they couldn't. And that's something that just has to be fixed, because the Packers cannot contend for a Super Bowl and win playoff games if their running game is dead on arrival, which is truly what it was for most of the season last year. So in that sense, yeah, Matt LaFleur needed to let Jordan Love cook a little bit, in that he needed to realize, we can't run the ball. Jordan's got to throw 40 times today. Yes, he needed to do a better job of that. But Packers fans, especially down the stretch last year, and let's say down the stretch meaning from the Steelers game to the Broncos game, when things kind of hit the fan, they slung the pill, man. And Jordan Love gets to take a lot of shots. They push the ball down the field. I think Matt LaFleur gives Jordan Love a lot more leeway than some Packers fans seem to think. He has the freedom to take shots and to push the ball down the field. I also think he's got a lot of rope at the line of scrimmage. There was one moment last season, I'll never be able to track it down. I'll never be able to find what press conference Matt LaFleur said this, but I'm 99% sure that at some point Matt LaFleur pointed out, like, there's times where Jordan Love checks into a run play, and I don't want him to. So I think Jordan Love has plenty of rope at the line of scrimmage. He just doesn't maybe take it as much as Aaron Rodgers did. So next year, when we talk about turning Jordan Love loose, are they going to let him cook? Well, hopefully they can run the ball a lot better so they don't need to let Jordan Love or make Jordan Love throw 40 times a game. That's what I would like. And I think Jordan Love occasionally needs to be compelled to check the ball down or to throw shorter passes because their offense doesn't really have an intermediate game. They would run the ball, they'd throw swing passes or screen plays behind the line of scrimmage, and they'd throw 40-yard bombs, and that was kind of it. They need a better, more well-rounded offense. So not to pick on Nick's call, but Nick is not alone in asking, okay, is Matt LaFleur really going to let Jordan Love cook? I think he has. Jordan Love had a tremendous year last year, and he did so without a running game and an O-line. Now, my Matt LaFleur complaint last year wasn't, you need to let Jordan Love cook. It was more, Matt, you can't run the ball. Stop trying. And I guess those two things go hand in hand because every bad running attempt is one passing attempt that's taken away from Jordan Love. But again, they can't throw 40 times a game next year and contend for a Super Bowl. That's not a serious team. A serious team has to have at least some sort of running attack. Even if it's not the first option, you can be a pass-first team. You need to be able to pick up 3 yards on the ground here and there. 608-321, 1670. That's the number. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Yeah, it's Darnell.
Hey, Darnell. What's going on?
Happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday.
Hey, last year we talked about Barabbas. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember it as clearly as I remember anything that's ever happened on this show. Yes.
Awesome. I was just thinking I was sitting here on hold and you're talking about Jordan Love, and I'm about to head into church here tonight. And last season there was a lot of. Okay, so when I say Jews, I'm not referring to actual Jewish people, but a lot of Packer fans, aka Jews, that were calling for Barabbas. Give us Barabbas instead of. Because Pontius Pilate wanted to release Jesus.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And all of the Jews were like, no, give us Barabbas. We would rather have the murderer. And I can't help but like comparing them a little bit last season to give us Malik Willis when we have a perfectly good Jordan Love. You know what I mean? Like it's like no, give us the thing that worked 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Instead of the thing that's been proven over the past 3 years. You know what I mean? It's just I couldn't help but like kind of go into a little bit of a hypothetical there, or I guess not hypothetical. It's more of a just
an analogy.
Comparison, but analogy, that's a much better word for it. But yeah, I'm headed into church here right now. I'm just like, sometimes sports and, religion and worldly things and spiritual things, they just kind of align in your brain. And you're just like, wow, it's not all by chance. Something's up there making all this happen. And all of the Wisconsin sports failures and just miseries, they're all for something. You know what I mean? They're all to make something happen in our brains. If it's lowering our expectations or, giving us a really, really crappy time to really appreciate the awesome times that happen occasionally, right? You're not going to be happy every year. We're not living in UConn, we're not in the Final Four every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just have to appreciate the good times because you're in the bad times, right? Because you haven't made it to the Sweet 16 in 10 years, right? You have to appreciate those 4 years where we made the Sweet 16 every single year,
mm-hmm.
right? Because you just don't know how good you have it until you don't have it, right?
This is deep. Darnell, you've really given me something to think about. Go get into church, say some prayers. We'll need to, when we get past Easter on Sunday, we'll need to reconnect and revisit this early next week. Okay, you promise?
For sure.
All right. Have a good Easter, Darnell. You and your family.
You
I know you're a father. Jews. Let's say Romans. Let's say that's got a little bit less punch than the J word. The Jews. The Romans. Let's say the Romans. We talked about this last night on Thorson and Heilprin too. The Romans. Yeah. Okay. 608-3217. Who's this?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, you got me. Hey, this is Tricky here. First time caller, long time listener.
Hey, Tricky.
My bone to pick here is the WIA. Can we talk about this?
Yes. It's Friday, of course.
Okay. So, I'm a hockey coach up here in northern Wisconsin.
Where in northern Wisconsin?
I don't know if I want to say the exact school I'm calling from.
That's fair.
But it's a small D2 school in Wisconsin here. And listen to this. This is my second year coaching, and we made the state tournament twice in a row. Okay. I mean, it'd be pretty easy to pick out the school here from this. But we didn't win a single state championship, and we are moving up to Division I, and it has to be for 2 years. This is a town of less than, I would say, 3,000 people. We had, 20 kids on our hockey team this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the WIA, because they enforce these rules to every single sport, and there's no appeal process. You can, but 99.9% of them get denied. We're going to go up and we're playing for nothing. I grew up in the time, one division high school hockey, and you knew every single year you were going to lose to Hudson. You were going to lose to Superior. It did not matter. We had the best program when I was in high school in the history of the town.
Where'd you go to high school?
It didn't matter. We played for nothing.
Where'd you go to high school? I'm just curious. Unless it's the place you coach now, then again, you don't know.
Yeah, no. I went to high school in Baldwin, Wisconsin.
Oh, Baldwin-Woodville.
Blackhawks.
Yep.
And we had great teams, but it didn't matter. You got to play Hudson, and that's what it is. I mean, you can't change the past, but now we're doing the same thing. We're this small school. We're going to have to go and play Hudson or Wausau West or Stevens Point. And you're playing for nothing. It's ridiculous, and they need to get a hold of it. And it doesn't have to be. We don't have to make a blanket rule for every single sport, but it does need to have somebody looking over and say, you know what, that doesn't make any damn sense.
No, I think common sense. Well, and I don't think it should be the same rules for all the sports, Tricky. I appreciate the call. I was just talking about this with someone who was about basketball, and it was for Bonduel. Because I think they're in a similar situation where that's been a really good program. And I don't think they've won a state title, but they've been kind of banging around the door. And the hope is, that's how I view it. If you are a really good program and you're in the playoffs and you're getting close and you're in the mix, you're in the right spot. Because in theory, if you're in the mix and you're getting bites at the apple, eventually you have an opportunity. You might break through and win one year. I wouldn't want to move teams unless they're just completely and totally dominating everybody. So I'm with you. I was talking with a friend about this. It was a Bonduel again. It wasn't hockey, it was basketball, but I think the same thing applies. A lot of people have more complaints than compliments towards the WIAA. I'm not involved in youth sport in any form or fashion. I don't have kids of my own. Maybe one day this can be a task I'll take up. Appreciate the call, Tree. I don't have much to add other than huzzah to your quest. I support you. We'll come back in just a couple minutes. I want to talk Final Four.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
There's a pitch in there for a strike. And at no time, Zach, have I ever felt like I was watching a rookie pitcher when I see Cade Horton work. I know he's young, and as I say that now, Craig Counsell is calling for the trainer. Craig, very astute and very observant, noticed that there was something bothering Cade Horton, and I'm not sure exactly what it was, but Nick Frangella, one of the trainers, is out there along with Craig Counsell. Hope it is nothing serious. He's going to leave the game. Cade Horton is going to leave this ball game in the second inning with nobody out. And that is an alarming development.
Cubs radio, Pat Hughes. That's the story of the day. Cade Horton leaving with forearm tightness. Probably not great. You never know. Could just be that. Could just be a little discomfort. Comes back in a couple weeks. Trevor McGill did last year. Or it could mean he needs Tommy John. It's a massive development for the Cubs, for the NL Central. Also, little breaking news 15 minutes ago, it's announced Brewers Royals has been postponed. So they're going to play it tomorrow, doubleheader. So if you didn't have Apple TV, No worries. We dodged that bullet tonight. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Final Four here before our final segment. We'll pop up a little Jimmy Buffett because it's Fins Up Friday. But first, I want to take one call. Thank you for sitting through the break. 608-321-1670. What's go Sport Joe? Who's this?
Joey in Milwaukee.
Hey, Joey. What's going on?
Not much. Driving home from work. Have not caught any of the show because I was at work.
Man.
But because it's a free phones Friday, I got to get something off my chest.
Go ahead.
I had a friend over the weekend tell me that Howie's in Lacrosse has the best wings in Wisconsin. I need to hear your thoughts.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, Joey. I'm just gonna pot you down. I'll put you on hold here just in case, because I don't want to cut you loose in case you actually want to hear my answer. I think Howie's has great. I think Howie's has really good wings. But I'm just gonna say something. Vagabond John has been crusading on Twitter about this in the past. You know, searching for a perfect wing. Can I just say that most wings that I've had are like they're pretty good. They're all pretty good. Like I think Howie's wings are awesome. Truly. I think wing night might be Thursday. And they're good. They're very good. But I guess maybe I'm just not very picky. I mean, boneless wings suck. So I don't like those. They're bone-in, they're great. But I also like, I don't know. I think most wings are good. I know when I have bad wings, every once in a while you have wings like, oh, those sucked. But I think good wings are good wings. There's like a bajillion spots in Lacrosse that have great wings. I think Flipside's wings are awesome. I think Sloopy's wings, we've done broadcasts at Sloopy's, are really good. I've never had them at the Sports Nut. That's where the locals say the best wings in town are. I don't know what that means because for the most part, everywhere I go and I get wings are pretty darn good. So I wish I could give you a better answer, Joey. The best in Wisconsin, I have no idea, but they are good. They're very good. And I used to work there, so I would know. I worked there until they asked me not to anymore. Final four thought. I don't think I want to cheer for Michigan. And I don't think I want to cheer for Illinois either. And I like Brad Underwood. It's just very simple. And again, loser. I'm a loser. I think there's some things in sports we do when I cheer against a rival in the playoffs after my team is eliminated. It's fair. It's fine. Last year, I cheered against the Bears in that Rams game, and I was very happy when the Bears lost. That's fine to do, but I'll admit, for doing that, I'm a loser. Loser, because my team had already lost. And that's fine. Sometimes being a loser is fine. Sometimes it's even fun. Sometimes it's fun to be a loser. I think cheering against teams for whatever reason, sometimes make you loser. I just don't think I want Illinois people to be happy. I think a lot of Illinois fans are also Cubs fans, Bears fans. And while I don't have a problem with Illinois, the basketball team, I don't really want fans of those teams to be happy about anything. So I think for that reason, I'll cheer against Illinois. And I still like Michigan. I cheer for Michigan State. I don't like Michigan. So I'll cheer against them too. But also, I'm not cheering for the Big Ten in the Final Four because I think the Big Ten already came and conquered in this tournament. If they won a national title, it'd be a nice Sunday on top. They had 6 of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16. And then they had how many teams in the Elite 8? 3 or 4? And now half the teams in the Final Four are Big Ten teams. So I don't think if Michigan and Illinois trip up in the Final Four and the national championship game is Arizona, UConn. And that might even be possible because I don't know who's playing who. I've been a little disconnected. But if there's not a single Big Ten team in the national championship game, I don't think people would say, what happened to the Big Ten? I thought the Big Ten was so good. I think the Big Ten is shown, even if they don't win a title. And I think it's an extension of what we've seen in football where it's like, guys, the Big Ten they're better equipped to win in this era. They have more money. There's more rich people that graduated from Indiana, Michigan. There's plenty of rich people who graduated from Wisconsin. They apparently just they don't care. I guess they don't care. Ohio State, Penn State. There's just more rich people who graduated from these schools than LSU, Alabama. There's more money in Chicago. There's more money in these alumni. I mean, friggin' Cuban. I never knew how many people went to Indiana until last year when they started getting good. It's like, oh, I didn't know that person was an Indiana person. I didn't know they went to Indiana. So many people went to Indiana. There's so much money. So if the Big Ten doesn't win a title this year, they'll probably be right there next year and the year after. I just think this is college athletics now. As a conference, they just have so much more financial heft. And Fox has to be psyched about it, especially for football, the rights carriers. I mean, I know some of the games are on CBS, but in this war between the Big Ten and the SEC, there's just more money in the Big Ten. Spend more on players. Michigan, especially. Illinois got a lot of money. I mean, they might cut a check to chase John Blackwell for $5-6 million, $6-7 million when he announces he's leaving next week. I'm kidding, because we don't know that to be sure. But Fins Up, by the way, it's Friday. We'll listen to a little Jimmy Buffett when we come back, and we'll wrap up the show after this.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Not only going out to Wisconsin and the great Midwest, we're going around the world tonight, Parrot Head.
Final segment, Fins Up. It's Friday. Thank you for listening. I've been a little bit behind on the text line, and I apologize, but it's a good way to maybe recap and hit one more time all of the segments and the topics that we've hit so far. A little Badgers football, Final Four, Brewers, and a Jordan Love segment. Didn't anticipate talking about Jordan Love. Normally, that's what the 10 to 2 show is for. Talk a lot about Jordan Love, the 10 to 2 show with Bill. Jay Krebs on the Brewers says, for all the prospects getting multi-year extensions, I think they really messed up not giving one to Terang. He's become one of the best second basemen in the league. Yeah. I mean, knowing what we know now, you would have really liked to give him the Churio or the Cooper Pratt deal, or I guess the Aaron Ashby deal maybe is a little bit more accurate because they paid Churio and they paid, I think they paid Aaron Ashby after he debuted. Same with Freddie Peralta. So I guess Peralta's maybe the best of all. Maybe the Brewers tried and Trank said no. It's also really hard to envision in Trank's first and second year. Would have been really hard to see this version with the power specifically. The defense was always there, but you don't give those guys those types of extensions for just defense. So yeah, he's probably priced himself. He's almost certainly priced himself out now. Madtown Ryan, my take on Luke Fickell is we were doing Wisconsin football, but not good enough. So we wanted to try something new. Luke Fickell brought in the air raid. It didn't work. Took way too long to switch back to the roots. Switched up now, which puts us at the bottom of the Big Ten as UW Badger. I've never seen this in my life. You are correct on all fronts. Building it back up is going to be harder. It's going to take a lot. Jim in Cottage Grove. Love you, Jim. Says, I'm sorry, I must be out of the loop. I thought we were just resting Vaughn. I didn't know he was hurt. I heard he had some sort of surgery. Can you expand on that? Yeah, he's got a busted hamate bone. So I think 4 to 6. I think Churio is 2 to 4. I think Vaughn is 4 to 6. It's a busted bone in his hand. Andrew in South Milwaukee, behind on the live stream, but a late answer that I'd resurrect in terms of Brewers we'd bring back. Cone asked, in honor of Easter, who would you bring back? Said, I'd resurrect Joey Weimer since he seems to be the best player in baseball now. Happy Good Friday. Yeah, I don't know how the last game or two's gone for Weimer. I saw Miles Michaelis was throwing batting practice in Nationals Dodgers today, but that doesn't mean Weimer couldn't have had a couple knocks. I don't know. Coyote Mike, excellent analogy about Darnell the Chump. Yeah, he compared the Romans to Packers fans and Barabbas to Malik Willis. I watched one. He went on to talk about Stations of the Cross. You're correct. And Jim in Cottage Grove wants to throw out chicken licks in Cottage Grove for the best wings. I think all wings are good. I think if someone's like really passionate about where the best wings are, it's like just relax a bit. Just a little bit. I've also been following along with the Dives of Wisconsin dive bar tournament. And the final, I've been just following Bluffside in lacrosse. The final has come, I've seen this on Facebook and on Twitter. The finals come down to Chewy's in Manitowoc and Bluffside Tavern in lacrosse. I tweeted something about this today. I'm a Bluffside guy, not a sponsor of the show, but I just think like Bluffside might be the poster child for it's just like a good bar. It's like, well, what are they known for? What's their thing? What's their drink? They're not known for, nothing comes to mind. It's just a really good bar. I'd be happy to meet a significant other there. I'd take my mother there. I'd take my siblings there. I'd throw some sort of a party that just a good bar, I've talked to 2 people who live in Manitowoc, and they both text me. They're like, that place is a dump. Which, I guess, it's a dive bar tournament. I also don't really think of Bluffside as a dive. I think, again, more of just a good bar. And I think in 2026, we've lost a little bit of that. Every bar's got to have we're known for our fish bowls or our this or that, or, this is the bar where you go to watch this. It's like, no, how about just a good bar? I was talking about this with a friend today. Interestingly enough, the one who lives in Manitowoc was telling me about Chewy's. He works in the beverage service, right? So we used to live in lacrosse together. So he would go to, he'd service all the bars. He's seen the sausage made, literally. And well, not literally, but you know what I mean. And we agree. I think a bar should be a blank canvas. I think a bar is a diving board. I think a bar is an on-ramp. A bar should be a place that allows you and your friends to gather and have the time that you're trying to have. I don't think the bar should dictate terms. I think the bar should allow you come gather here and have fun. You almost blend in with the bar. The bar should become background noise. So I cast my vote for Bluffside, but obviously. Have a good Easter. Random ending to the show. I will talk to you all on Monday. Thanks for listening.
A boy from Mississippi.